Oh, you caught that?
Still grounded. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Cobra Kai live stream. Today, we're pretty much going to be discussing all things season 5 of Cobra Kai, doing a little bit of a breakdown. Maybe we'll watch a little bit of Netflix in there as well. We have so much to say. Mike and I have been on holidays. Poor Rashad's been waiting to let all of his thoughts out about this. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. Before we jump in, Mike, Rashad, do you want to give your channel a quick little plug?
Yeah, I wait long time for this. Okay. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead, man.
No, I was saying you go first.
Oh, thank you, man. So polite.
Thank you, mister.
Yes, Mr. I know. Yeah, it's Mr. Rashad from now on.
Mr. Rashad.
Okay, yeah. Who am I? All right, so I'm Rashad from Rashad G Reviews. I have a channel on YouTube, and I talk movies and show. I just had a brain fart. I talk movies and shows and whatever's kind of trending. Just dropped a video yesterday about Kevin Hart and Nori from Drink Champs, which you two have never heard of. So yeah, just whatever I want to talk about, I get on camera and talk about it. And some people agree, some people don't agree, and that's the beauty of YouTube. So yeah, Rashad G Reviews. That's it, and that's all.
Nice, Mike.
Yeah, Mike, my channel's Did You See That? Yeah, like Rashad, we both talk about movies, TV. On my channel, I also do Back to the Future content, adventure vlogs. I've got a couple coming up from my trip in Florida recently, being where I met Rashad for the first time, which was awesome. And then last night, dropped a movie review for a movie called Smile, coming out in a couple of days' time. Got to see that early. So
jealous.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. You suck. No.
It was just my cinema had a special advanced screening of it. So I was I saw the trailer and I was like, wow, I really like the trailer. Saw it last night, and yeah, you can find out what I say in my review. I don't want to kind of say anything here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to see that. I'm not gonna be able to see that till Thursday, which I'm probably not now because of the storm that we're getting. So I might not be able to see it till probably the weekend. Yeah, I might have to cancel it because we got a big storm coming this way.
Yeah, Perez has been saying about you guys are getting a hurricane.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's just the flooding and not a lot else. Just a little bit of flooding, hopefully. I mean, not that you want that either, but
when you lived in Florida for so long, it's like you get numb to it. So it's like hurricane. All right, cool. Just give me a bunch of tissue, a bunch of water, and some canned food, and I'm good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm super excited because I went to my first con. So I got, stand up, see. I'm officially got some Cobra Kai merch.
Nice.
It's a little bit big and I've rolled up the sleeves so I don't look like a complete fool. But yeah, I'm officially got some merch, which is awesome. So
it looks badass. The sleeves come, with the sleeves rolled up and everything. Yeah, it's badass.
Muscle shirt. I'm going to get my cousin to proper make it into a shirt. They had the Eagle Fang ones, which were red, which was cool. I was like, oh, I can make that into a dress. But I thought, I'll stick to the plain old Cobra Kai. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about what we thought. Yeah, there's a few comments coming in, which is awesome. Hi, Sylvie. Hi, Joe. No mercy. Cobra Kai never dies. Hi, Soul on Fire.
Yeah, hey.
I'll just pop through all these and hello to everybody. We'll just keep chatting while we're going. So season 5, what did you guys think? I thought it was the best season yet, to be honest. I loved pretty much every single thing, apart from the only thing that I was like, really, was when Carmen was pregnant and they showed the ultrasound and the baby's huge. At that stage in her pregnancy, that baby is like a peanut. I was just like, oh, that's really shitting me because I've been through a lot of ultrasounds with my IVF stuff. So I was like, oh, man, that's the one thing that I was like, oh, that's cringy. But the rest, loved it. Loved every single thing. What do you guys think?
Mr. Rashad?
Thank you, sir. I don't know if I could say it's the best season, but it's definitely the most batshit crazy season. This shit did not care. It just threw everything at us and said, you know what? We know the Cobra Kai fan. We know what you guys expect, and we know that when we throw at you, you're gonna like it. So yeah, it was the craziest. It's definitely starting to get into the far-fetched area, but I love it though. I love it. I love far-fetched Cobra Kai. I'm not complaining about it. But I love this season. Definitely to me better than last season. I thought last season was somewhat of a step down, even though I did enjoy it. But this season made up for it and then some in spades. Like I was cheering a couple times, almost shed a tear. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Tense at times, like, oh shit, especially the Chozen and Terry Silver fight. I was nervous.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I loved it. I gave it an A+ on my channel on my review. So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. With that Terry, like I know we're jumping right to the end there, but with that Terry and Chozen fight there at the end, oh my gosh, I was getting like full on Star Wars vibes with that. Hey, like when they had the swords, and like again, how high did the stakes jump that we went from like, punching teenagers and stuff to going full out like whipping kids and like whipping out a samurai sword and slashing some guys. Like we just went to a whole nother level. And yeah, when they had them swords out, like, and they were going across the water there, oh my gosh, the blue was glistening with the smoke and, glistening off the sword there. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is like the Darth Vader fight. Like I remember this. I watched this the other week. You know what I mean? It looks so great. I thought it was so good.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah, the season definitely had like a lot of highlights. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But good observation about the baby though. Yeah, because at that stage of the pregnancy, you don't even see the baby. They just have like just the ultrasound where I guess you hear the baby's heartbeat. And then I think after about like 6 months, then you get to see the fetus. I think that's how it works. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been to one of those.
Yeah, the heartbeat doesn't actually come until 6 to 7 weeks. So yeah, they definitely were a bit premature there, but that's all right. I mean, it's a movie, so
look, it's Cobra Kai verse, okay? This is the only universe where you can absolutely know nothing about karate, and then within 3 weeks, you're doing somersaults and breaking boards.
That's me. I'm karate adjacent, as Amanda would say. I loved that scene. Her little curtsy. They're all introducing themselves as, like, oh, Johnny Lawrence, sensei of blah, blah, blah. And then she's just like, karate adjacent. Very cute. Is it common for Aussies to surf in Mexico and rob tourists? That fight escalated quickly. I've never been to Mexico, so I can't comment on that. But they did us very dodgy, the Australians. We were very, they made us dodgy. Anyway. Never mind. What did you think of that whole Miggy to Mexico storyline? What did you guys feel about that?
Was it feeling it, Mike?
Nah, like I like that. Don't get me wrong. I think the best element about that whole story arc, first it was the FBI shirts. I laughed my ass off when I saw the female body inspector shirts. They were so funny. I think in terms of like the Mexico stuff, like I think it's one of those things where last season, like how they ended season 4 was like going to be like, oh, he's going to go to Mexico. They've got like a big idea for what they're going to do with this Mexico storyline. And then it kind of like rounds out in 2 episodes where he finds a random guy named Hector, and that's got to be his dad. I was like, I was like, there's so many, not trying to be like stereotypical or anything here, but I'm sure there's more than one Hector in Mexico. There's way more than one Hector in America and stuff, never mind Mexico. So I was just like, surely, like, I was like, he doesn't really look like Miguel either. I don't know. I felt like that was a bit weak. The best part of Mexico was the fact where Johnny like took Robbie along with him, and like him actually like trying to go along, and then ultimately realizes, well, look, Johnny's used him to help him to get Miguel, and like the tension that they had to start of that 2 episodes. That was the best element of Mexico. But ultimately, I just felt like it was a bit of a bit pointless because after 2 episodes, it was done and dusted. That was it. And no big.
I liked it because I thought. Sorry. I liked it because I thought.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think there's a delay because I think that there's a delay because right when I was about to start talking, you started talking. It's like, okay, so I think there's like a little delay here, but not good. Go ahead, take the floor.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't think that it was not important. I think that it was very important because we got to see Miguel's dad. I mean, there's theories out there that might not even be Miguel's dad. Like technically it wasn't spelt out for us, but like really, come on, like the writing was on the wall there. I don't think it needed to be spelt out. I do think it was his dad. Anyway, I think that the point of that message, or the point of that whole 2 episodes, was to show that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. You know, he did want this perfect family and he wanted his dad, but really he had a dad there all along. You know, Johnny comes in tattered, you know, like, oh, just the emotion in that scene where Miguel called his mum and he was crying, and just Johnny rocks up like, I'm here for you, son. That broke me. Like I cried in that, because I thought, he's been there the whole time. Like, that is your dad, mate. Fuck this other Mexican guy. Sorry, but stuff him. You know what I mean? Like, and I know he doesn't know that he has a son and he might change and things like that. But like, Johnny has been there for Miguel the whole time. And what I loved about that little trip to Mexico is that he also got to tell Robbie he's made mistakes by him. He's trying to fix his mistakes with him, but he's not going to do that same thing to Miguel. You know, like just because he loves Robbie doesn't mean he's going to stop loving Miguel. And I thought that was a really good moment as well, to say, you know, he failed him, but he's not going to fail Miguel, because Miguel is similar to Robbie. You know, he has this deadbeat dad, and yeah, just needs a father figure. So I thought that sort of trip was pretty important. And also I feel like when Johnny and Miguel embraced and they were like crying together and things like that at the end of episode 2, was it? Yeah, at the end of episode 2, Robbie hops out the car and actually sees them, and the expression on his face is sort of like sympathy, you know, like he sort of sees, oh, he's vulnerable like me. And I think that was one step, like one of the many, because they didn't come back and be best friends again, as we know. But I think that was the first step to seeing, wow, we're the same, you know, all we want's a dad, you know? So I think it was important. If that was from my opinion anyway. I really liked them first 2 episodes, and yeah, they were freaking sad. I was very sad.
I agree. I agree 100% with you, Jamie. 100%. So yeah, everything you said, I felt. You know what I mean? But I can understand why people say, well, you know, I think it was rushed. It wasn't needed because it went by so fast. But the payoff was very necessary, and it was a gut punch. You know what I mean? So yeah, probably a little bit rushed, but the payoff made up for it, because like you said, you know, Miguel had this void ever since season 1 where he said he never met his father. So now it's like comes full circle, meets the man, not the man that he thought he was. And the whole time, Johnny, you know, like your boy said in Guardians of the Galaxy, I may not have been your father, you know, well, he may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy. You know, Johnny's been his dad the whole time. And so it took for that moment to happen. And the scene with Robbie, you know, when he looked at him, as compared to the first time when Robbie saw Miguel and Johnny hug, it was jealousy. Like, who is this guy hugging my dad? But now it's like, okay, I understand.
I got you.
With this guy, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I felt the same thing. And I understand why it was rushed. Like, I get it was only 2 episodes. And at the start, you know, that was the main thing that I wanted. I really wanted to see Miguel's dad, blah, blah, blah. But in the whole big picture of things, that wasn't the whole point of the season. Do you know what I mean? It was about Terry Silver. So I get that you can't just keep harping on and on about Miguel's dad. So I see how it was a little bit, I don't want to say crammed, but, you know, a little bit rushed, and some people were a little bit disappointed, but I thought it was great, honestly. Right. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next character, Johnny. I feel like Johnny, his character arc he matured so much. You know, like he went from not even, his most famous line, in my opinion, was "What's an Uber?" to suddenly Ubering. You know, like he grew so much. What did you guys think of Johnny this season?
Yeah, Rashad?
Listen, Johnny's my spirit animal. Johnny, I always say, is the white version of me, and I'm the black version of him. Okay, me and him, we're both inappropriate. We're both stuck in the 80s. We both Uber. Okay, only difference between me and Johnny is that he does karate and I don't. That's the only difference. and we both love to drink. Okay, so I love Johnny. This season is definitely no exception. Killed it once again, even though I say many times that Chozen is the MVP. But this is still Johnny's show, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we can't take the focus off that. This is still Johnny Lawrence's show, but Chozen just happened to be the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you something. Even down to this is probably TMI, but when you're an Uber driver, sometimes you can't always get to the bathroom. So
please,
that moment he had, yes, that we do that.
Ew.
Yes, I have a cup that I keep right beside me where I handle my business when needed.
Bloody hell, Rashad.
But of course, I mean, I dispose of it at the end of the day, you know.
So it's all okay. We're going to give you 1 star.
Okay.
And what about watermelon piss? Do you like the taste of watermelon piss?
I've never tried White Claw a day in my life because I feel like I would have to turn in my man card if I ever drunk White Claw.
I thought it was good. Yeah. What about you, Mike? What did you think about Johnny this season?
Yeah, like, as always, I think he's just a great character. I really, you know what, the scene I really loved? I love the scene when, like, LaRusso's going through, like, such a hard time, and he comes and, like, knocks on Johnny's, like, look, I need your help. And, like, he's, like, the crazy one, and, like, Johnny's, like, the actual sensible one. Like, the role reversal, I was like, wow, we've come this far in, like, 5 seasons.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't get me wrong, though, I still miss the immature Johnny Lawrence, though, because he was getting, like, really, like, you know, actually, like, mature by the end of the season. But I still miss him running around, like, football fields and stuff in the last season. I really wish we had more of that. But, yeah, like, I thought it was great as always. It's nice that they've actually given him, like, a purpose with Carmen, like, him settling down and, like, having a kid. And then, obviously, Miguel and Robbie finds out and they're really supportive of it. Like, it'll be a really interesting dynamic, giving them kind of like a final kind of happiness for once, I guess, throughout this whole Karate Kid movies and Cobra Kai. So I kind of like the route they're going with that. Hopefully, he might get married, you know, to Carmen. Maybe like Ali might be there as like a guest kind of thing, and like I don't know.
That would be awkward.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, like how they end season 3 with Ali kind of being like, you know, go get her and stuff like that, and you know, go like with your true love, you know. Yeah, I'd like how they're kind of wrapping up his character and definitely giving him like an overall just happy ending as such.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's funny you say. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it's funny you said because they wrap this season up as if they're wrapping up the series, because when you think about it, besides the whole John Kreese thing, where do we go from here? Like Johnny has come full circle. His arc is complete because he's now the father that he should have been a long time ago. Only thing missing now, like you say, he didn't marry Carmen yet. So everybody is kind of like wrapped up. So like, where the fuck do we go from here?
Yeah. I felt the same thing. I felt like, is this the final season and they just haven't told us? Because everything was really coming full circle and really feeling like everyone got that sort of redemption that they deserve. Well, I felt like they deserved, apart from Kreese. And I was dodgy. I was like, if Kreese dies like this, like what a cop out. Like I was so pissed off. So yeah, to see him at the end there come back, you know, like Cobra Kai never dies. That's the spirit and things like that. But yeah, it really did feel like, not that I would be happy if it ended, but I felt like, wow, this is closing well. You know, when things just sort of drag on and they keep dragging, this felt like it was closing. But I can see where they go from here, because they sort of did plant those little seeds with the world tournament. What was it called? Like the Sucker.
I called the Kumite. I forgot what it was called.
Something. I shouldn't even try and pronounce it. It's ridiculous. But anyway, the world tournament, let's call it. You know, they've still got that to carry on with. And then I really feel like they didn't use Sensei Kim to her full potential either. Like we saw little bits of her violent and what's the word that I'm looking for? Like aggressive side, I guess, you know, like pain doesn't exist and stuff like that. Right. And I feel like they planted that little seed in there with, you know, her as a child and young Kreese, you know, when he was training there with, was it Kim Sung Young or something like that?
Yeah, Kim Sung Young, yeah.
Yeah, so when they were training and, you know, she was watching on and he gave her the wink, I feel like that was, you know, planting the seeds and really setting up for what could happen in season 6, which could be, you know, Kreese teaming up with her. Because remember, when she jumped off that airplane, she saw Silver and she was like, where's Kreese? I'm disappointed Kreese isn't here. So she was expecting Kreese to be in charge, I guess.
Right. Right. Yeah. The funny thing is about that whole thing, though, right, is I was saying this to Rashad when I saw him the other week, is in that flashback scene that we get where you said like the wink, like, you know, the younger Kreese in like 1980. 4 years later, he's going to go on to be John Kreese in the Karate Kid movie. I was like, he's had a rough age round, hasn't he?
Yeah, he been there in those 4 years, man. The stress can bring it out of you. Stress can age you, man.
It got to him big time, and that's the case.
Oh yeah.
I'm just loving these comments coming through. I hope you dispose of it, Rashad.
Of course, no. Well, right then and there. Once I relieve myself, I pour it out immediately, and then I, and keep going. So you can say I marked my territory all around the damn town, just about.
Bloody hell. I want to bring up this comment with Tyler. He said about bringing back Hilary Swank. This was something that I was really worried about at the start of the season because everybody kept throwing out these ideas. Let's bring back this person. Let's bring back this. And I thought, I really don't want this season to be overshadowed by all of these surprise guests. Don't take away from that story. And that's something that this show does so freaking perfectly. Them including, what was it, Jessica Andrews, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jessica Andrews, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Them including her, the way that you're not happy with that? I thought that was so perfect. Amanda's gone from this lady who hasn't been around the karate, like Danny hasn't been involved with karate for a long time. So for her to have all this, karate thrown at her, and then like literally children thrown through her freaking kitchen window, it's a lot, like it's really a lot. So her and Danny splitting, that really made sense. But how would they get back together? How would she forgive him so easily? And Jessica was the perfect way to do that. Introducing her as, Amanda's cousin, and her having been, like, she knows Terry. We've been there in KK3. So I think that was a really good inclusion for Amanda to see Danny's perspective without hearing it from him. Someone else saying, Terry is a psychopath. You know what I mean? Like, you got to understand this guy's bad. So for her to hear that from somebody else, I thought that was really, really smart and a great way to include, someone else reprising their role, I guess. You didn't like it,
Mike? Go ahead, Mike.
I think I'm going to be disagreeing with you guys a little bit. Like, I'm a little bit torn in the cameos this season because don't get me wrong, right? So it's so great to see, like, is it Julie Andrews? Is Julie or Jessica the name?
Jessica Andrews.
Yeah, Julie Pierce, Jessica Andrews. Yeah.
Like so when she came into that scene with like Amanda, at first I was like, who the hell's that? Because like they had that kind of music introduction coming in as if it's like a big reveal kind of thing, and I was like, I don't know who that is. I'm like, am I meant to know this person? Then when I showed the flashback, I was like, oh, right, okay, right, it's her. But like, I just felt like her cameo would have been maybe better if she went to see like heard about this news about them splitting up. Maybe went to see Daniel first, because imagine him opening the door and being like, "Oh shit!" Like ever since that time since Karate Kid 3, they've never seen each other.
But they have seen each other because she's Amanda's cousin.
Or maybe like I don't know. They could have maybe done like a quick flashback, maybe her being at the wedding or something like that. Just a younger version. I don't know, whatever. But it's just like, I'm sure they could have fit in like a literally 10-second flashback, if that, But like, as I say, it's just like, I don't know about you guys, but I didn't even know it was her. So that moment for me was taken away. Now, don't get me wrong, like the bar scene she has with Amanda is awesome. I really like that. And when she was like, oh, Terry Silver, like, do you not know what kind of pain he put Daniel through? Like that bit, I was like, wow, that's awesome. But I think just for me, like the introduction, I was like, I don't know, I didn't recognize it. So for me, I was like, that was taken away. And then when we move on later on, I'll get onto Mike Barnes because that wasn't the one I wasn't happy about. But
I've got a few comments on that.
Andrews.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying though, Mike, because she really wasn't. I mean, out of all the characters in the Karate Kid universe, she's like not the most memorable. No diss to her, but it was cool seeing her again because she is part of the lore. She's part of the movies, but I wasn't thrilled to see her, but I wasn't mad either. I said, okay, this is another one of those Cobra Kai signature cameo moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's rated the voice down. I'm getting tired of it. Well, listen, I mean, look, that could be a good segue to Daniel getting back with Allie, because if y'all noticed in season 3, Daniel was kind of giving Allie the F me eyes a little bit, and I don't know. He was a little jealous when Johnny and Allie were hugging, so but yeah, Jessica, the Jessica stuff didn't bother me. Only thing I'm thinking of now is who else is left. The only person that can cameo now that I'll be like, oh shit, is Dutch. We have to have Dutch. Julia. Okay, well, what's the name for the next Karate Kid? This is Julia, right? Julia. Well,
Julia Pierce, yeah.
Take Julia Pierce in the trash. Give me Dutch. Okay, yeah, y'all remember Dutch, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
that's who Dutch. People were saying was going to be in this one. And then so I was thinking, like, we've got Chozen, we've got Mike Barnes, we're going to have Dutch, we're going to have, they were talking Julie Pierce. And I just thought it's too much for me. It's too crowded from the story. So the way that they just had like pretty much 2, because let's say Chozen was really already introduced last season. So really 2 cameos to me, like I thought that was quite good, and next season, sure, you can introduce some other people, but or reintroduce, should I say, some other people. But yeah, I felt like that was enough what we had. It was good.
Well, I'll tell you what, an idea I had, because remember, Dutch is supposed to be in prison. He's serving a lifetime prison sentence. So how dope would that have been if Kreese would have ran into him in prison? And they, you know what I'm saying? Right. And they would have had a little face off, maybe even like a little team up of Kreese and Dutch. That'd have been dope, you know what I'm saying? But man, can't always get what you want.
Yeah, we've got a lot of love for Hilary Swank in the comments here. Sorry, Tyler, I'm not feeling you. We might.
Well, here's a question for both of you guys, right? So I saw the other day they've announced a new Karate Kid movie.
Yeah.
Now I've heard from rumors it's meant to continue on after Cobra Kai. Like it's all happened about Cobra Kai and just following on from LaRusso.
Yeah, but I did hear that it's nothing to do with the big 3 that have made the Cobra Kai. It's nothing to do with that. And apparently Ralph is not reprising his role. So it would be literally a whole new Daniel LaRusso. So me,
there'd be a reboot. Yeah.
Like, what's the point? Like we've got this Cobra Kai stuff going on, and I feel like that's really successful. And you could take it in so many different ways with all the spin-offs and things. Why would you go and reboot a movie that isn't even going to have the people that we know in it? Like, I don't know.
Because Sony. It's Sony.
Yeah, they need money.
Sony can mess up a wet dream, man. Yeah. So Sony can take something that's successful and milk it dry. They take all the credit. Like, for example, the Spider-Man movies. Okay, look what the MCU did with Spider-Man. Successful. Sony says, well, hey, we can do what you guys did. We're going to build a whole other Spider-Man universe, and you're going to like it better than the MCU. We're going to give you Morbius. That's Sony in a nutshell.
Yeah. Well, they're doing it, but
it's stupid because I mean, like the Karate Kid, like I think we can probably all agree, and Perez will probably vouch as well. Like everything Cobra Kai's done so far is elevated Karate Kid 2 and Karate Kid 3. Yes, especially number 2 with Chozen.
Yeah.
Like that storyline is so pivotal in the series. Like it makes that movie look like an Oscar. That's how good they've made it. So to make like a 5th Karate Kid movie, if that's the case, without any of the cast, it's just going to get panned straight away. And then it's going to kind of be like, well, it's going to piss off like fans like us because it's going to be like, well, why have you made another movie that's not even focused on any of the characters? And it's going to be like I'm sure maybe the big 3 and like Ralph and Zabka probably see that movie and be like, well, we're not going to include them in our Cobra Kai universe. Like what's the point?
Yeah, I'd boycott it. I would boycott it. Yeah, I wouldn't bother with it.
I'll watch it just out of curiosity, killed the cat. But I'm not looking forward to it at all when I found out that it wasn't anything to do with, the guys who are making this masterpiece. I think it is anyway. And I don't think it's needed, to be honest. But anyway, we'll see.
It just makes no sense because at least back in the day, even though we don't like the next Karate Kid, like right now in Cobra Kai, they could really bring in Hilary Swank and elevate that movie so much.
Yeah.
Because imagine like some emotional like scene with like Daniel reflecting on Miyagi or whatever, and then she comes in and they both had Mr. Miyagi as a the teacher, like that's going to make for a powerful scene when that happens.
Right.
But like at least they've got that movie from back when to do it. Whereas this fifth movie they're going to bring out, it's just absolutely no point to it at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dumb decision.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing that I love about Cobra Kai is, as you said, Mike, like it ties in things from the originals, the original franchise, but it doesn't take away from the story. Like they're still fresh ideas and they've still got their own story going, but they really pay, I don't want to say respects, but like they're really respectful in the way that they do tie in that stuff from the original 3 movies, like even things like in this season, for example, Johnny's getting the shit beat out of him and all those bloody, senseis or whatever they are, are beating up Johnny, and Terry comes in and he looks him like dead in the face and says to them, finish him. Like that is Kreese's line. They didn't have to include that. They could have him say anything there, but they tie it into the original movie, and just, I don't know, the montages and everything, even the Kim Song Young, anyway, you know who I'm talking about.
Right.
Even tying in and giving him, that little scene at the beginning, I'm not quite sure what episode it was, but where we had young Chozen, and he was training up, punching the drums or whatever it was in, training and practicing, even having that character reintroduced in season 5, and tying back into the Karate Kid 2, all that stuff, it just links perfectly. And you don't have to have watched those original movies in order to follow on with Cobra Kai. And that's what I really like, like new fans, it's rewarding and a, really good nod to us original fans, but those that aren't original fans and are just following on from Cobra Kai, they can still follow on, it's that's what I like about it. It's really good.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like my daughter's never been a fan of the Karate Kid movies, but we bonded through Cobra Kai. You know what I mean? So, like you said, they took everything I loved about the movies, but then give it a fresh take where she can relate to it. So, and that's very hard to do. Like easier said than done. Like there's franchises that try to reboot a franchise, a popular franchise, and they fail because it just caters to the core audience and forgets that, okay, there's new people we can introduce this to, and then it kind of fails, except with the hardcore audience. So yeah, I agree with that. And by the way, that's Sato, not Kim Sung Young. I didn't want to interrupt you. Yeah, that was Sato. Yeah, and I'd like to say, so fans like me, when I see stuff like that, I lose my shit. Like, yo, that's Sato. As soon as I saw 1972, I said, that's Sato.
Right.
That's Young Chozen. You know what I mean? Just little things that they would throw in there, like when Silver says, when he says, now the pain is about to begin, Danny boy. I'm like, that's his line from 3. The whole thing with the knuckles bleeding. I mean, there's just so many Easter eggs in there that you just like, as a fan, you love it. But as a new fan, you still appreciate it because it's good writing, So, hats off to those guys, man. So, yeah, that new movie, man, fuck that movie.
Yeah. Sorry. And what I did get the names messed up there, but also I just thought of another thing then when you did say that Kim Sung Young or whatever, when Terry said it in KK3, and they did have the montage in this season of it, and he says, I was trained by my master, and then that relates to that Sensei Kim, she said Chozen was in the car with Denny, and he said, I've seen this type of karate before, and that's when he mentions it. So again, linking it in, to previous Karate Kid movies. Yeah, I just think they're really, really smart how they do that. I really like it.
Because remember at one point there was a theory that that Sato trained Kreese and Terry Silver, because remember they was like, well, who was their original master? And something popped up on my computer. Yeah, who's their original master? So people were saying, Sato trained because I guess he trained like people in the war, like during the Korean War and stuff. So they were saying that there was, but then of course that got debunked. It was Kim Sung Young and not Sato. But what the hell?
Jason just put on here about Stingray, and that's another thing too that I really loved about this season was the characters that, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, had no substance, like Stingray, like Anthony. They gave them a purpose, and I really liked that because I really liked specifically what they did with Stingray. And they even tied in some throwbacks to season 2, I think it was, when he was introduced, and he said, I'm not afraid, he was at Johnny's dojo, Cobra Kai at the time, and he said, I'm not afraid to fight kids, or I'm not afraid to beat up kids. And then in this season, when Denny goes and, the kids are stopping him from going and protecting his kids, Stingray says, don't worry, Mr. L, I'm not afraid to beat up kids. And they, they threw back to that same line. And I thought, wow, this guy's gone full circle from it being a joke about beating up these kids to actually being useful, like helping out. And yeah, he had a purpose. And likewise with Anthony, like instead of fighting and using his fists, because he's sort of like cowardly, I guess you could say, he used his mind, and the Xbox sort of stuff paid off, I guess, whereas he's like witty with that sort of thing, with the hard drive and stuff. What did you guys think about that, those characters specifically?
Yeah, I think with like with Stingray, I think like it was a really redeeming arc for him, like telling that story without saying it was Silver that beat him up. Like he used the metaphor of like Dungeons and Dragons, I think it was, or
Dojos.
Dojos.
How good was that?
Yeah, so I really liked how they did that. And you said like tying it back into season 2. Of course, he's in Johnny Lawrence's old car he was given.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
yeah.
So I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool to bring that back. And I never thought I'd see that vehicle again, but here we are. Silver brought it back. Yeah, I think like Stingray's purpose was kind of like done. I don't think you'd really need him for the other seasons now.
No.
But yeah, I like that they kind of give him like an overall finale to it. Yeah, I like Stingray.
Mike, how could you say that Stingray is no longer needed, man? Blasphemy. Stingray is a staple in the show. You need Stingray, man.
Nah, I'm with Mike. I think he's done now.
No, we need Stingray.
Redemption.
No, we need Stingray and his endless pop culture references, man. The whole "come with me if you want to live" stuff like that. No, Stingray is needed. That's straight from the Terminator.
I mean, I think it'd be like a cool kind of addition to Miyagi-Do, I guess. Like going forward, like him and Johnny at Eagle Fang or something. That would be cool. But I think like overall, like as we've all said, like this season kind of helped like to wrap up a lot of characters.
Right.
And like he was one of them. But Stingray isn't going anywhere yet. Probably.
Yeah, you gotta have Stingray in there.
There is one comment out, Jimmy. If you can go back to it, it was Tyler Calvert about. He mentioned about LaRusso meeting Hilary Swank.
Yes.
I don't know what your guys' thoughts on this. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on this is, but if they're going to bring Hilary Swank in, which I think it's only a matter of time, probably next season, as this season really focuses on Karate Kid 3. I would really like for them to maybe have a scene where LaRusso's going through like Mr. Miyagi's stuff, or like maybe a box of stuff he hasn't seen before, and he maybe sees a photo of Miyagi and her, and he's like, hold on, like Miyagi never told me he taught anyone else, kind of thing. But she obviously knows that Miyagi taught LaRusso, and maybe on this world tournament, that's how they get to meet. Like he goes to traveling to meet Miyagi's like former student as well. I just want to ask you guys about that one.
You know what, Mike? I can kind of see that. So yeah, so we get introduced to her by a student, right? So one of Daniel's students fights one of her students, and it's like, wait a minute, that's Miyagi though.
That's the same
Chozen,
style.
Same style. Chozen, did you? No, nothing to do with that. Well, so how the hell did he? And before anybody gets their pennies in the bunch, that's how Chozen talks. So I'm not. Don't talk about Rashad. That's racist. That's the way he talks, goddammit, so leave me alone. And yeah, so that'll be a good way to introduce them. Like, wait a minute, how do you know this style? I was trained by Mr. Miyagi. And that's the first time he ever met another Miyagi-Do student that was actually trained by Miyagi. So yeah, that'd probably be dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't actually watched the Hilary Swank one, and people have told me not to bother. So I guess before season 6, I might have to. But yeah, well, I guess because it wasn't really part of the original 3, I wasn't really keen, and I wasn't really big on the Jackie Chan one. So I was like,
well, I know Ralph Macchio very quickly. I know Ralph Macchio did say in an interview that him and Zabka did mention about the Hilary Swank movie, about like that being canon in the universe and not the Jackie Chan one. So I think it's only a matter of time until Hilary Swank does show up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I probably need to watch it then.
Rashad can't wait.
I've heard a lot of reviews
I'm not a fan of that movie at all, and it's just funny that people are really vouching for her to be on the show, but in actuality, she was the most annoying character ever. I hated her character. Like, she starts out so annoying, and by the end of the movie, she's still annoying. Like, she has no arc.
No arc.
She's a whiny brat from beginning to end. I hated the movie. Now, I like Hilary Swank as an actress. I think she's a brilliant actress, but I hated that character with a passion. That's it, and that's all.
Yeah, right. All right, let's talk about the people that we expected in this. What did you think of Mike Barnes? Obviously, we all knew he was coming back. You weren't a fan either, Mike?
Mike fucking Barnes.
Mike fucking Barnes.
For me, I just think it was a massive wasted opportunity to have Mike in the series. Don't get me wrong, I loved seeing him be Chosen. The little fight that we got, I was like as Rashad said at the beginning, like in this season, there's so many crazy moments. I never would have think Mike Barnes be Chosen ever. So that was so cool to see. And that reunion scene with don't get me wrong, the reunion, how they did that with Daniel going to see him and being like, right, I'll get the one up on Terry Silver. I love that. I thought I was brilliant writing. Yeah. I was like, he's actually being smart for once and not running around. I was like, great, keep up with this. Yeah. So I love that bit. I just think it's the payoff to do with Mike Barnes is wasted, because after I think it's episode 4 when his furniture shop burns down, we don't see him until episode 9. And I'm like, how the hell's he found the Russo in a nightclub? I'm like, has he been stalking him since episode 4? I'm like, I don't know. For me, the way I would have wrote that, and again, let me know if you agree or not, is at the end of the day, they've paid the guy to come back for the season. I would have loved for them to have where the furniture shop burned down, and then at the end of the season, when you think Mike Barnes is a good guy and back on their side, maybe Terry Silver as a last-ditch effort planted some evidence to say that LaRusso was the one who burned the furniture shop. Because then imagine the stakes it would be, and Mike Barnes would be he could be the leader as such with Kim, or I don't know, some kind of arc to be LaRusso's being blamed for burning his furniture shop, so he could then take revenge by bashing up the dealership.
Well, I feel like LaRusso was sort of already, I don't want to say blamed, because we all know he didn't do it, and even Mike knows that he didn't do it, but really he was to blame, because he is the one that reached out to find Mike Barnes. Before that, Terry would never have gone near his furniture shop. Go ahead, live your life, little, not fazed by him. So for Danny to reach out and sort of get him back involved with this karate thing and lure him in, I guess, into the trouble, so I feel like it kind of was Danny's fault, even though he didn't like the match, sure, but he definitely opened that, I don't know, started
Pandora's
the crack
box.
Yes, I don't know what's in her box.
I don't know Pandora. What's in her box?
But
I got Robbie out and I got Crease out, so that's a double win.
but again, they could have done something, as you said, Jimmy, perfectly. They could have done something with that. Mike Barnes has been happy all these years. He's got a successful business. All of a sudden, LaRusso comes along for some karate, and he lost his business. And they're like, oh, he's fine now because he stole a painting. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's just stupid writing. And that's how we're gonna
Mike, I can't.
He gets a painting, and that's it. We're never going to see him again. It was just stupid.
The thing that I like though is that they don't close things off. So we don't know if we're never going to see Hector again, Miguel's dad. We don't know if we're going to see Mike Barnes again. So I don't think it's sort of he's got a painting bye-bye, see you later. But I think the painting recouped for what he'd lost, because he was waiting for the insurance claim to come through or whatever was going on there, which is why he went into hiding. I guess that part I didn't really understand. But anyway, so Jace just said here that he didn't do much in that last fight. So I think he's definitely got the opportunity to come back. But again, this was just a cameo. You know what I mean? Like he's not the focus of the season. I know everyone wanted him to be, but yeah, I didn't want Mike Barnes coming in overshadowing Johnny and Danny, or even Miguel and Robbie. You know, like the main people that I think really sell this story.
The core group. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? But I can't, Mike. I can't disagree with anything. Yeah, I can't disagree with anything that you said, Mike. But at the same time, it was just so cool to see him back. You know. But yeah, I agree that they could have wrote him. They could have wrote him a lot better. They could have did more with him. But it was fan service. It was strictly fan service. Like nothing more, nothing less. It was for the fans of the movie. Where's Mike Barnes? Okay, here's Mike Barnes. He owns a furniture store. Give him a fight scene. Give him a scene with all the villains together, which is my favorite moment in the whole season when they're at the limo. And he's like, yeah, I see 4 consequences right here. We're going to go to Terry Silver's house and beat the living shit out of him. Oish! Love that part, you know.
And like Denny's in the middle, and all of his former enemies are literally surrounding him. It was like, wow, we've come so far. Every one of them beat him up or like wanted to fight him, and that was just great. Such a good scene.
And he got beat up one last time because Johnny came out the limo trying to help. He said, "Hey, get your damn hands off him!" Pop, damn it, Johnny. Even without trying, Johnny just messes Daniel up.
And I gotta say, sorry, Mike.
No, I'm saying like just real quickly with Rashad, like I agree, like I love that part. I love the fact where like Mike Barnes and like Johnny team up, like 2 Cobra Kai students teaming up, like from the past. I was like, wow, awesome.
Right.
I just wish they kind of give him like a good send off, Mike Barnes, or like at least they could have utilized him with Terry Silver's like ultimate plan, because it now makes Terry Silver be like, oh, like he's got nothing now, he's going to jail, kind of thing. And like Kreese, like, I don't know, I wasn't a huge fan of how the season ended. I know we're not talking about that right now, but yeah, I like Mike Barnes. Great seeing him again, and like it was so good bringing him back from Karate Kid 3. I just feel like they could have used him way more, and he goes missing for like 5 episodes with like no explanation as to what he's been doing in that time. Like I just wish we had something there, a bit extra.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It was all fan service, and and as a fan, I appreciate that. But from a putting my critic hat on like you, Mike, I agree that they could have did so much more with that. I'm saying that to weave into the story, kind of like with Julie Andrews. With Jessica Andrews, how they weaved her into the story where she was the cousin of Amanda. So weave Mike in there almost seamlessly to make it, but it was just like, hey fans, Mike Barnes, yeah. And that was it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it was like he had like such a cool introduction as well when like that like I can't remember, it was like Chozen or someone was like, oh, like what can we do against Johnny Lawrence? Against Silver, and like just pans in on loose, and he's like Mike fucking Barnes. Yeah. I was like, that was so awesome,
Yeah.
Was great.
I hope to make a shirt of that, Mike fucking Barnes. I would buy that shirt.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Kreese before we get on to my standout like you, Rashad. Yeah. Again, I was a little bit disappointed because, as you all know, I was really rooting for Kreese to have that sacrificial death and really get his redemption of being a good guy, and I didn't get it. So, I love the series, but that cut me a little bit. I really wanted to see Kreese redeemed. I think he's a good guy at heart, but unfortunately, we're not seeing it.
I think Kreese is irredeemable. There's no redeeming Kreese, and that's the ongoing thing within this series. Even the movies is him faking his death. Like this is maybe his 3rd time that he's faked his death, because remember he was supposed to have been dead in 3. He was supposed to die in 3, and then in the first season of Cobra Kai, he was supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
And then he came back again. And Daniel's like, yeah, well, let me guess. He died again.
Yeah, they're going to have to like literally see him die, which I'm yet again hoping for in season 6 in order to actually believe it, because,
he's like with 9 lives, that man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Just you can't kill him. He's like the road, not the road runner, but the coyote, just you can't kill the guy.
Right. Love when Chozen. LaRusso literally is. That's the perfect thing about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was a dope scene where it was like, yeah, I kicked his ass at the beach. Oh yeah, we fought to the death. Oh, what are you, some kind of ghost? You know?
Yeah, they were comparing like the worst things that Denny's done, or the best things that he's done. Like, oh, I saw him fight a tycoon. You know, like a hurricane or whatever. Like what?
Yeah, that was definitely a dope moment.
Yeah, Jace also says he was okay with the fact that Kreese was dead. He's not sure where the character will go, which ties in before with that, Sensei Kim thing. I really think that in season 6, Kreese might team up with her at this world tournament, because really, what else is he going to do? Let's be honest. Like he's sort of burnt his bridge with everybody, I guess. And even Tori now, who is someone who I thought that he could sacrifice himself for, like Johnny or her, sorry. Even her, like he sort of dogged her this season as well. So she felt abandoned. So I feel like he's got to team up with, Sensei Kim, even though he didn't want the tournament. He always said he didn't want to go worldwide. He just wanted Cobra Kai. Mm-hmm. But like I can't really see any other purpose for him other than teaming up with her. What do you guys think? Or going further?
Well, he's a fugitive now on the run, so he has no choice but to go to Korea, wherever Sensei Kim is from, because if he stays in the States, especially if he stays in the Valley, he's going back to jail. Even though his name was cleared because, Stingray gave a false testimony, but now that you're an escaped convict, yeah, you're going back in there, buddy. So yeah, but we're probably not going to see him again until the World Tournament. He's going to surprise everybody. Johnny and Daniel, everybody's going to be there. And oh my God, Kreese is alive still. Kreese is gonna be sitting there, with that stance that he does, like, yes, I have returned. Whatever, So yeah, the World Tournament. That's the next time we're gonna see Kreese, I think.
Well, at the end of the season, don't like Danny, Johnny, and stuff know about Kreese alive anyway? Because isn't it like that policeman's like, did he not hear about John Kreese? And I think he tells him that he escaped or just escaped or something.
He doesn't actually say it. No,
he doesn't say it, but I think it implies it, right?
It implies that he either escaped or that he died, because, like, what does that officer know? Like, does he know that he beat up the medic and escaped, or the coroner, or, like wherever he was going to that death room? Does he know that all them people are beat up and that Kreese escaped? Or does he know that Kreese was sent to that morgue, for apparently being dead? It depends. Like, it's very misleading, and it's very that sort of cliffhanger of what do they know? Because if Kreese escaped, like, they could be fearful, or not fearful, but they could be like, oh, was this part of Terry's plan? Like, you don't know. Or is he dead? And I don't know. There's so many, you can interpret it in a few different ways, and I think that's how they intended that to be.
I think it works better if they told him that he died, and so now that's coming from an officer. Like, damn, the old bastard is dead. So the next season, for the most part, they're gonna feel like, yeah, that old bastard's gone, whatever. And then when they see him again, he's gonna be like, oh shit.
But do you really think that Johnny would believe that? I mean, Denny and Johnny went to the prison, and this guy walks out and he's like, go get me a Jello cup, go get me this. Like, he was the boss of that prison, and they saw that. So do they really believe that someone would have, like, shanked him? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe not. I've never been to prison, so what would I know?
Listen, in Cobra Kai verse, anything can happen, man. Anything's possible.
That's right. And like, we were all umming and ahhing about, how are they going to find out that Kreese is in jail, because nobody knows. And they sort of skimmed over that part, and we just got straight to the point of Amanda saying, oh, Kreese is in jail. So there's things that they can just sort of, sweep under the rug, I guess, and just move on with. This could be one of them, yeah.
I will say, I love that scene with Johnny, Daniel, and Kreese, by the way, in the prison. And it's the whole part about the lawyer being like, right, you tell me what we'll get you the lawyer.
Yeah, like, don't give me your greasy cousins.
I think this season, I think, was one of the best seasons. I actually liked Daniel LaRusso. Like, Amanda splitting up from him was the best thing that happened to him in that season.
Yeah.
He was badass. He wanted to fight everyone. I was like, about time. He was actually useful in this season. We saw the crane kick again. I was like,
yes,
what the heck's happened with this guy?
Yeah.
I cheered, I cheered at that moment. I cheered.
Right,
I did.
right.
Yeah. I feel like he needed to be broken and he needed to reach that rock bottom, sort of like Miguel did, really, by going to Mexico. He needed to see that I can't do this anymore, or Amanda can't do this anymore, in order for him to realize what he's already got. He's already got family. You know, that is the whole purpose of this season, I believe, with Johnny, you know, starting a family and sort of getting the boys back together, you know, to be brothers, I guess. And then with Danny, you know, he lost his, but in order of him losing his, he realized that is the whole purpose. And then I feel like even with Chozen, you know, realizing that he loves Kamiko in this season, everything is about what I felt like family. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like that was the whole, not the point of this series, but that was a real like big factor of it, I really think. And like even to the point where when Johnny was getting the shit beat out of him, you know, like I didn't think Johnny was going to die, but I really thought like, oh man, you know, like he's not looking good.
He should have severe brain damage.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
The one thing that brought him back was seeing that ultrasound picture on the ground, you know what I mean? So like family sort of encouraged him to get that sort of final, I don't know, final go.
That also of his baby growing so quick.
Fuck that shit, me, hey. Oh god.
Like
my 8-month-old child in 2 months.
Carmen missed a period. Next minute she's like out here.
It also
in pregnancy as a dog, 9 weeks, and that's it. There's a baby.
Damn. Well, also to add to that, the ongoing theme also of fighting for, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think, who was it? Was it Chozen or was it Daniel that was like, no, I think it was Chozen that said the reason why Daniel wanted to fight against me is because he has something he was fighting for Kumiko, whereas I was fighting against, you know. And if you notice from that point on, every fight that happened, the person that was fighting for always came out on top as opposed to the person fighting against, you know. So but I agree, family, fighting for, and also I think moving forward, because there's also that scene with Johnny too where he says, you know, I've always been looking behind me instead of looking what was right in front of me, and that's karma. You know, I've been so stuck on the past and what happened in the past and thinking, how could I change what happened with that kick? But like my future was right there, and I was too busy thinking about that instead of focusing on this.
Yeah.
So
and in a really tiny way, they sort of included that with Miguel as well. You know, like he was so focused on finding his dad that really he's got a perfect dad right there, or a perfect like husband to Carmen is right there, you know. So,
right.
Yeah, I feel like we did that a little bit. Jace mentions a few people, which brings up something that I wanted to talk about. So are we going to see a redemption arc for Kenny? To do with Kenny or the kids in general? I think feel Kenny's like done. Yeah, I can't see where I can't see who's going to pick him up. Do you know what I mean? I feel like Sensei Kim is going to bring in a whole bunch of new kids from her own country. I don't think she really felt like any of our kids had potential. Like even Tori, I don't think she was a fan of Tori. I don't think she thought anything of Devin. I think, you know, they were all sort of Terry's prodigies, not really anything that she was interested in. So I don't see where the other kids are going to fit. But that brings me to thinking in this season, like where was Piper, which was the Cobra Kai girl? She was like, I don't want to say the champion, but, you know, she was like, you know, really strong girl in the Cobra Kai.
the girl that did all the flips and stuff.
Yeah, right? Where was she? And then there was someone else who I was thinking of too. Oh, Leah. The whole reason why Anthony and Kenny were fighting in the first place was over this girl. And it's like, I never saw her in the whole episode. So I wonder why that sort of died off. But anyway, a bit odd. But what did you think about the kids and their sort of story?
Kenny, I think Kenny's gonna turn to a life of crime like his brother. So I could see him going down that juvenile delinquent route Okay, and something's gonna. I mean, well, I think there might be a redemption to his characters. I think he's gonna go down that dark path, like his brother. Maybe even join his brother on a couple of escapades or whatever. And Robbie is probably the only one that could reach him because Robbie was the one that he came to in the beginning, to help him out. So yeah, I think it's gonna be Robbie the one. If anybody does turn it back, it's gonna be Robbie. But yeah, I definitely see him being even worse in season 6. Mm-hmm. And Anthony better learn how to throw a punch or two because I'm telling you, I don't care for Anthony LaRusso, but when if you dip my head in shit water, even if I can't fight, I'm getting your ass some way somehow. There's no way you can dip my bald head in a bowl of shit, and there'd be no. Right. I must get my restitution. If I gotta get a baseball bat or something, so yeah, Anthony better learn how to throw a punch.
Yeah, I agree.
That's it. That's all.
Well, here's a question. So I'm a little bit puzzled. So in regards to that question, what Jace asks there, Jamie, is the whole arc for Kenny in season 6 or whatever, It's like, so for example, I think what Rashad said about Kreese going to Korea makes the perfect sense because he's a fugitive in America. Like, the question is going to be, like, what's going to happen to all these Cobra Kai dojos that's built? Because, I mean, is Terry Silver just bought the land for, like, 10 years? Or has he just bought, like, pay-by-monthly agreement? Like, we don't know. So if it's a bi-monthly, if he's in prison, he's probably going to, obviously, they're probably all going to close. And then, like, obviously, at the end of the season, the Cobra Kai students throw the shirts down. They don't be part of Cobra Kai anymore. So it's like the world, like, they're clearly going for, like, a world tournament next season. I think that's the only way, like, it can go. Yeah. And, to give, like, for example, if you got a world tournament, if I was LaRusso or Johnny Lawrence, I'd be like, right, I want Miguel, I want Hawk, I want Robbie, I want Sam, I want Tori representing the dojos. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I want Kenny representing us. Or like Anthony LaRusso, like, you just wouldn't do that. So, like, I don't know what arc they're going to do with the kids and, like wrap their kind of story up. I definitely agree with Rashad, though. If I was LaRusso, I would have been... Like, there was a perfect chance for him to, when he went to Sam in that season, and he was like, and they're having that conversation about karate and stuff, that was a perfect time for her to show him some moves to get some revenge on Kenny. It didn't do.
I feel like, though, that at that point there is when she sort of told him about that he, not want to say he's not strong, but that's when he needs to use his mind, like, because obviously they're trying to make out like he's real, sort of like Dimitri, very nerdy, not so much physical, but they can use their brain to outsmart their enemy. That's the route that I feel like they were taking. And that's why, he mentioned about the hard drive sort of stuff, and he was the one protecting the egg. And yeah, they sort of gave him that sort of purpose that, he can win, like he was the one that said, let's stick together. Let's, instead of, in that episode 5, I think, or 7, it was 7. And Chozen taught them how to protect the egg. He was the one that said, wait, we've got to stick together. We've got to, be a team rather than, do it individually. And I think that was them showing that, he uses his smarts rather than his fists, and I feel like that emphasis was on, like, Sam showing that in that conversation that they had there, because she was like, oh, why didn't you tell me? It's like, how did you not know that this kid was getting bullied? Even at the water park, she's sitting right there and she's like, oh, why didn't you tell me? And he said, oh, I didn't want my sister to come and fight my enemies for me. And it's like, as if you didn't see that, Sam. You were sitting right there on your beach towel, bloody.
Yeah.
Maybe the next season, like, the outcast kids, like, have, like, the Cobra Kai dojo themselves. Maybe, like, Stingray might take over. And, like, because he's an outcast.
That's a
thought.
No,
like, think about it, right? He's an outcast character. He's always wanted to be Cobra Kai. That's all he's known. And, like, for example, like, what are they going to do with Kyle next season? Kyle.
Kyle,
like,
that kid.
Yeah, like, we don't like him, but he's not going to be a good guy after all these seasons bullying, like, Miguel stuff. Like, Kenny, like, as Rashad said, he's on a bit of a dark path. He doesn't know what he wants to do. He thought he was, like, a leader at one point as well. Like, Devon, there's going to be no room for her in Miyagi-Do. if they got Tori and Sam, she's going to be ruled out immediately, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes sense for like all the outcast kids to be in a dojo or some kind. I mean, I'm not sure.
I mean that's a thought, man. Like there's a lot of possibilities what they could do here, but I don't know which one like makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I know there's so many directions they can go, but I just don't know. I got a comment on this right here. I agree. I didn't like the fact that Kenny beat Hawk, man. No, Hawk is an All Valley champion. All right, he's right. second. He's second to Miguel. Okay, it's Miguel, Robbie, and then Eli Hawk. Okay, he's third. And Kenny almost killed him. Like they made Kenny so over on this season. I guess the reason why they did that because there was no other like clear threat in Cobra Kai. You know, usually they have that one unbeatable fighter, so they had to take Kenny and make him like really. They like overpowered him. Like the power scale was just ridiculous what they did with him. There's no way he should have beat Hawk. Yeah, no way.
Yeah, you're right though. Like Cobra Kai this season had no one as like their main person, so they made Kenny that. Yeah, I
tried to.
I didn't like.
They tried to. Yeah.
I didn't like that they beat Hawk in the fight though. Like it just made Hawk winning at All Valley pointless.
Yeah, that's almost like my son here knocking me out, man. That's not going to happen yet.
He's got his moves, Dad. He's been practicing watching Cobra Kai with you.
Yeah, maybe in a few years, man, but not now. You try to hit me with that silver bullet shit, I'm gonna block it and knock you out.
I'm with Rashad. I believe that Chozen was the real MVP of this. I loved that he was like just this breath of fresh air that really was all about karate. You know, like every single chance that he got, like. The guy comes in when they're at the LaRusso's auto place and they're all, you know, planning what they're going to do for Terry. The guy comes in and says, you know, guys, I just want to buy a car. Can someone sell me a car? And if you look at Chozen, he's straight away like this. As soon as the guy walks in, you know, everyone's just looking like, who the fuck? And then Chozen's like, you want to go, me? And
Chozen stay ready. Chozen stays ready, man, all the time.
And Amanda said something like, you know, we've got to be ready for Terry Silver or something at the house. And he said, I've already checked the perimeter. Like he literally patrols the house to protect family. And I just love it. But not only is he like all about karate and stuff, I really liked that he was a friend to Daniel. You know, he said defending Miyagi-Do is never a waste of time, nor is defending friend or protecting friend. And I thought that was really great, and also really great that he not only was there for Daniel and, you know, training up sort of Daniel's kids, but the kids in general, you know, like teaching them that protect the egg scene. I thought that was so good because, again, linking back in and becoming full circle, like that's the same technique that they use to protect that stupid hard drive, you know, and without Chozen, that wouldn't have happened. So I just feel like he was so important and, you know, so funny. And I just thought he was such a great character this season. I really loved him. What do you guys think?
Right.
Definitely. Yeah. Chozen. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no. Yeah. Chozen's definitely MVP this season. Funny as hell. And he's a true warrior. You know what I'm saying? Like he lives and breathes freaking combat. And out of everybody in this season, like Chozen was like the only one that wanted all the smoke with Terry Silver. He did not care. Like while everybody's saying, hey, Terry Silver's dangerous. He's nothing. Chozen's like, no, I want Silver.
No, he said, take me to Terry Silver.
Yeah, take me to Terry Silver. So from the beginning, he wanted all the smoke, and he got it. He got his wish. They had their fight. You know what I'm saying? Like he wanted, and he kept the Raphael ninja size with him at all times.
All the time. Yes.
All the time. You know. Yeah. It was kind of awkward though, the fact that he was in love with Kumiko, because I've seen the second movie so many times. So every time I think of Chozen and Kumiko, I think about when Chozen clocked her. Like he punched the shit out of Kumiko, if you remember.
Yeah.
When he had the fight with Daniel, because he was stomping Daniel and Kumiko came from behind and was choking him out, and he turned around and bam, like she fell face first, like she died. Yeah, and when she got up again, she had like a black eye, you know. So it's just funny seeing that he's in love with her and he knocked the shit out of her. So, but other than that, I fuck with Chozen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think with that moment though, Rashad, like I agree with you. I think they kind of built that so well though in like season 3 when Daniel goes to Okinawa and then he meets Kimiko and then that's when Chozen introduced.
Yeah.
So in that time, they've obviously like reconciled or like I think he said in the season like he bowed his head for so long because he was disgraced by what he did or whatever. And again though, like they've done that thing where they can wrap his arc up perfectly where he does eventually get Kimiko. Like after all this time,
I mean, it will be dope. But every time I see it, I just think about that punch. It was such a hard punch. He clocked her. I'm like, ooh, God, you know, like closed fist.
Eye in return.
What's that?
I'm saying maybe she gives him a black eye in return.
Yeah, well, yeah, needs to. Yeah, I mean, I get it for you for the sake of the show. Yeah, they had to do it, but man, nah, come on.
There's no other logical reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely agree.
I mean, do something to make it believable. Like, okay, for example, the first Karate Kid movie, you know, actually, no, that's actually a bad example. I was gonna say to have Daniel have his leg messed up to fight Johnny because Johnny was such a powerful character. Like, how the hell is Daniel gonna beat Johnny? But no, that's a bad example. So I was gonna say, okay, if you weaken Johnny, it kind of evens the playing field with Daniel. But actually, it was reversed. Daniel was the one that got his leg broken, and he beat Johnny on one leg, which also doesn't make sense. So yeah, just forget my whole point.
Anyway, we all are in agreement.
Take that whole point and just throw it out the fucking window.
But
we all agreed that Kenny should not have beaten Hawk. There's no way. We just overlook that little part of this story.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chozen. What did you think of Terry? I thought, as well as Chozen, I think Jace wrote it here in a comment that those were his two favorites, and I agree. Terry was. I mean, Terry's always been scary, but this season, like, he did not give a f. You know, like, he was just brutal, and he's so manipulative. You know, like, just the way that at that auction there, how he manipulated Danny into thinking that, you know, Amanda. He told Amanda, you know, something different to what he'd actually told him, and that's when that sort of fight there, or not fight, but, you know, he you know, had his little tanty there, Danny. Yeah, he's just manipulative, and he is powerful, and that leads me to believe that, I think even Kreese says it in this season. You said, Mike, you know, oh, Terry's off to jail, but, like, is he? Do you know what I mean? Like, Kreese said Terry's got a defense attorney or something like that when they were sitting around the table, and he hands him the, you know, no mercy motherfucking note, which is freaking awesome. I thought that was great. But yeah, he's a very powerful man. So I really do, maybe not, he might not get off completely, but, like, I think he can definitely pull some strings. That's for sure.
Yeah, man, I love Terry Silver, man. He's the emperor. He's Emperor Palpatine, man. You know, he's that villain that you love to hate. Well, Jamie, I guess you understand that reference now that you've seen the original
I know who the Emperor is now.
Okay, so
I'm with you guys.
So he's the Emperor. He's the Emperor, and Kreese is Vader. You know what I mean? He just pulls all the strings, very maniacal, just real, you know, just manipulative and slimy, but just deliciously evil. You know what I'm saying? You love and Terry charming. Silver, man. Yeah, very charming.
Yeah.
My daughter might hate me for saying this, but my daughter has a crush on the man. Yes. My daughter actually said, "Dad, guess who I have a crush on Cobra Kai?" I'm like Hawk, no. Miguel, no. Robbie, no. I'm like, who? I said Chozen, no. I said Terry, yep.
No way.
Terry Silver.
Yeah, that's a prime example that we always like the fucking bad guys. Hey,
ain't that something? What is that? So you telling me Terry Silver could be my son-in-law? What the hell?
You've got a gorgeous looking Hawk right there, and you go for Terry. Bloody no.
That's incredible. I know she's gonna kill me for saying that.
Yeah, Chase, I'm with everyone now. I got it.
Yeah, she gets it now.
Yeah,
man, Terry
I've
Silver,
entered the
awesome
galaxy.
though.
Yeah, for sure.
So good in the season. Like, one of my favorite scenes, Jamie, you touched on it before, is that auction scene. And the fact when he like destroys the bonsai trees, I was like, oh shit. I was like, it's gonna go down now, like, you know?
Yeah.
I was waiting, I was thinking like, oh, is he gonna like have the bonsai trees and display in Cobra Kai? I was like, that would have been cool to see as well. And like get like footage on TV, so LaRusso like in advertisements being like, look at our prestigious bonsai trees and stuff like that, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And he knew that buying them bonsais would really hurt Daniel. You know what I mean? Like that's another way, you know, people might think, oh, he's so charming. He just paid $30,000 for something that, you know, people were paying $500 for or something. But, you know, he was just doing that to get at Daniel, you know? So yeah, just so slimy, as you said, Rashad.
Well, did you guys see the theory that he's possibly got cancer, the character?
Yeah, there's been a lot of theories about why he was on the ward when, you know,
just that comment's so funny.
For Joe.
Oh yeah. You say so. Oh yeah, you better call ambulance.
Yeah, there's been a misunderstanding.
And then that was so funny though. The next scene after that, when Chosen's like, "Oh, I love this.
I love this couch." Yeah.
And he's like, oh, 2,000.
2,000. Yeah. Normally 500 for you. 2,000.
2,000. Oh man.
Yeah. I love when he goes out there too, and they're like packing his lounge in to wear. He's living with Danny LaRusso, for God's sake. But anyway, and they're packing his lounge, and he's telling the same people that he just beat up, be careful with that, like it's suede or something. Like, dude, you just beat them the fuck up.
Yeah, Elizabeth, that means they're gonna listen to him now. Yeah.
True.
Right. Sometimes it takes a good ass whooping for somebody to say, okay, yes, sir. Okay. You know. Don't get blood on my couch. Yeah, don't get blood on my couch.
That was it. Don't get blood on my couch.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I thought Terry was great. I thought Chozen was the real standout for this season. I really did. I thought his karate stuff was so well included, but also he was just a great, funny, and just such a breath of fresh air to the show. I really do.
Well, can I say this? Can I say this? I don't know about y'all, but I am tired of Sam and Miguel. I don't like them. You know what I'm saying? Like every season, there's always some bullshit between them, and I'm like, I'm done. Just go your separate ways. Just move the fuck on.
No, I love them. I love them more than Robbie and Sam, because that Robbie and Sam stuff that they tried to force down our throats was awkward as when they kissed, that first kiss that they had, and he's like, do you like the cold or do you like the heat? What was that? Who says that? And
that's
he's
80s,
like, I
that's
like the
80s
heat.
dialogue. That's cheesy 80s dialogue.
Oh, it was disgusting. It was so bad. And they would never, ever write together, Robbie and Sam. It was just cringe. But Miguel and Sam are cute. And again, with the tie-ins, you know, like from season 1, when they went on their first date, Miguel, you know, gives her, or she picks the octopus, you know, the plush octopus. And then this season, you know, when they're talking about, oh, she said she wants to talk, you know what that means. And then he goes and buys that octopus necklace, you know, like just tying everything in so neatly.
And then she breaks his heart, and then so he now mind you, she tells him, I just want to be friends. I have to figure myself out. I'm not okay. So Miguel, you know, he doesn't do the, you know, pull the persistent stuff that most guys do and beg every damn day. No, he backs off and says, okay, I'm gonna give you space, do what you do. And guess what? He's hooked up with another chick because you said you want to be friends. You don't want to be together with another chick. She comes to the party. Now she want to cry like a baby with them crocodile tears. I can't believe you with another girl. You just said we're going to be friends. Like, make up your mind.
Right.
Jeez.
Yeah. I'm a female, so I see the other end of that.
I absolutely agree with like Rashad. Like don't get me wrong, like the Sam and Miguel stuff. No, don't get me wrong, right? Yeah. So Sam and Miguel, I do like Sam and Miguel together. Especially like how they've built up since season 1, and then like how they were like good when like season, you know, 3, and then obviously season 4 was when Miguel went to Mexico. But like I just felt like the issue is Sam this season.
Yeah.
It was like Rashad said, it was like, oh yeah, she wants to be with Miguel. Then she's like, nah, I don't want to be with him. Then he goes and kisses a girl when they're friends, and she's like proper pissed with him. I'm like, what do you expect? Like the guy's single, he's at a party. He's an All Valley champion.
He's an All Valley champ.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then all of a sudden she's like, "Oh no, I love you, Miguel." I'm like, "Fuck off! Just make a decision."
Yeah, make you listen. I come from. Listen, I've been through that before. Okay, that's happened to me. Where the whole yes, I just want to be friends and take it slow and yada yada yada. I said okay. So guess what? About maybe a few days later, I had my arm around another female. And we're talking and vibing, and then I see her, and even though I have no need to apologize because we're not together, but it was an awkward moment of, and she's like, "Nope, you played yourself. You played yourself." I said, "What?" I'm stuttering. I'm like, "We're not even together." She's like, "Nah, you played yourself. You played yourself." And so now I'm looking like I did something wrong.
Right.
And so now I'm finding myself on the phone begging, "Please forgive me. Forgive me for what?" Man.
I agree.
Out of the fence. I think that the whole purpose of that was, the whole purpose of Sam this season was her finding her own identity, something that wasn't a part of her dad. Like karate is her dad. She's following her dad's footsteps, the whole karate thing. Then she was shoved into karate again with Miguel, like everything was just about karate and my dad versus your dad. And, it was all just karate based. And I feel like she needed that time away from anything karate in order to get herself, like, to find her identity. And I can relate to that at the moment, like finding out who she is beyond, being this karate girl, or beyond being a girlfriend, or beyond, like, who is Sam? What is Sam? What does Sam enjoy? Who's Sam? That's what she needs to find out. So she wasn't saying she didn't love Miguel. She was sort of just saying, let's put things on hold because, she wasn't leaving this time to go to Robbie. But yeah, her seeing him at the party, like, I don't know. I wouldn't expect if you and someone broke up, I wouldn't expect them the next minute to be like at a party making out with a girl. I just think have a little bit more. I don't know. I guess to be fair though, he didn't know that she was going to be at the party, so he wasn't really rubbing it in her face.
But then at the same time, they do have a bit of time apart when they're at the pool scene. And like, I know he sits next to her in like the lounger and stuff, but it doesn't go like, "Oh, are you seeing any other guys at the moment?" or anything like that. He's like, as Rashad said, he backs off, And it's just like, I don't know. But then at the same time, at the end of the season, she's like, "Oh, yeah, screw everything that I had. I'm a karate girl. I'm all good." So I'm just like, what have you learned in this meantime? You still want to do karate. Nothing's changed.
And shout out to Miguel too for being as mature as he is at 17, because at 17 years old, right? If I see my ex-girl talking to her ex-boyfriend, which is Robbie, okay? So remember, Miguel and Hawk was sitting there, and then Robbie and Sam were talking. And Hawk is like, "Yo, you see this? Like, we should go over."
Hawk was like really encouraging him too, like, "Oh, something's going on there," and he's like, "No, we're good. Hey." Like, Hawk was instigating something there.
Yeah, but look, that shows a lot of maturity, because see, 17-year-old me, I would have been petty. I'd have been like, I said, "What the wait, hold on, I need to get in this shit. Wait a minute." I went over there. I would have went over there and made a scene.
Especially considering they have been together. Like, it's not like she was talking to any other guy. She was talking to a guy that she's legitimately got with before.
Right.
So he showed a lot of restraint to, just be like, "No, they're cool."
I mean, and
comment by Joe, by the way.
This one here, or was it another one I missed?
This one. I think this could have been like a really good idea.
Yep.
Oh, kind of like the Daniel and Johnny rival all over again. I dig it. I mean, personally speaking, I like Tori and Miguel as a couple better than Miguel and Sam, to be honest with you. I think Miguel and Tori had a better, I guess because I like Tori anyway as a character more than Sam.
We're not even getting into this freaking debate, you guys. We are not going down this Peyton List route. Where's Anthony?
I'm talking about Tori. I'm talking about Tori. I'm talking about Tori as a character. I'm not. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real PC. Okay.
But Peyton though.
This is our fucking DMs blowing up right on screen.
Listen, she's hotter than fish grease, man.
Right.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Perez,
in bed,
I need you. I need friends. Fucking hell. But yeah, you're right. I definitely ship, if you could call it that. I don't know. I definitely would want Miguel and Sam, in comparison to Miguel and Tori, that didn't really fit with me.
I beg to differ.
Really? You liked Miguel and Tori?
Yeah.
Oh, no, thanks.
Yeah.
I've got a few.
That comment
I'll just
by
pop up
Jason.
Joe's one here.
That comment by Jason was so good, though. I'd be the exact same.
Yeah, Jace left another one too, and I didn't want to put it up because I felt sad. But it says, I can't tell you how many times I've had a girl break up with me and was in the arms of another guy at school the next day. Like,
it's happened.
Sorry, Jace.
Right.
I'm saying, yo, if you can't find The Last American Virgin, that movie, like every guy that's been through that can relate to it, and you might just shed a tear.
People are shitty.
I know what that movie.
Yeah, if you can find it, that's a hard one to find though. But if you can find it, yeah, watch that. Yeah, that's happened. I think that's happened to all of us though. I think every guy has been through that at least once. You know?
And another thing too that I really liked about Miguel, again with his maturity, everyone matured this season, didn't they? Fucking Johnny, Miguel, you know, Tori,
Robbie. I think Robbie probably had the biggest arc out of all the kids.
Yeah,
because I mean, if you look at Robbie season 1 and then look at him now, like total turnaround, man. Like Robbie came. I used to hate Robbie. Mike, we used to talk about this. I used to hate Robbie with a passion for the first 2 seasons, man. But now he's one of my favorite characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. I think it was until the end of season 4 I actually was like, oh, Robbie might not be that bad.
Yeah,
it took that long. Like that writing.
Yeah, when him and Johnny finally rekindled, from that point is when I liked him, when he said, I'm angry, but I don't want to feel like this anymore. Like, I don't want to hurt anymore. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be jealous. That was a real turning point for me. And I started liking Robbie from that. And, I loved him in this. You know, like he was trying to explain to even Kenny and Tori, like, leave Cobra Kai. Look at what it does to you. It plays on your anger, and you know, it really brings the worst out in you. And I really feel like he was trying to help everybody. And yeah, he was just a really great character this season. I really enjoyed Robbie a lot. Yeah. And my favorite part was when they found out that they were going to, Carmen was going to have a baby, you know, like they're literally going to be brothers now, or kinda. And they're like, he said, we got to get you guys. I'm glad you guys have basically become friends before the baby comes. And they're like, the baby, holy shit. At the same time, they both say that. And then Johnny goes, yeah, you need to act surprised. Yeah, like that. And I thought that was really funny that, you know, and again, that ties in really well that they're both finding out they're on a playing field now, you know, like Johnny loves both of them the same. They're both finding out this very important information together. Like everything is balanced now, which sounds really cheesy because that's like one of like Mr. Miyagi's, you know, favorite things, having a balance. But I really feel like their relationship is like that now. Even with the Sam thing, you know, like Miguel trusts that Robbie doesn't want her, you know, like they're done, you know, they're together now. They're friends. Everybody's friends, and I like it.
Even though Sam did him dirty, to be honest with you, Sam did Robbie dirty, if you remember. So yeah, that's probably why I don't like Sam and Miguel, because Sam is untrustworthy. You know what I mean? Now, mind you, Sam was with Robbie at that party on season 2. Okay, she gets drunk. She professes her feelings for Miguel and then kisses him. And oh my God, what did I do? I need to go inside. And then lies about it. You know, So you know, Robbie had to come clean. Like, yeah, I'm the one that stole Mr. Miyagi's medal, and she couldn't come clean to him. She had to find out secondhand. Oh yeah, you kissed Miguel. Oh, Sam ain't shit. I should do a whole video about that. Sam ain't shit.
What did you do? Obi-Wan Kenobi ain't shit. Now it's Sam LaRusso ain't shit.
Sam LaRusso ain't shit. Yeah.
You know what it is? It's so true though. Like out of all of them, like Tori is the most faithful one out of them all.
Yeah.
Like Tori was always there for Miguel. She's always been there for Robbie. Even in this season, she was like, you know, she realized, she's lost Robbie because she was in Cobra Kai.
She chose the dojo, yeah.
Right. So bloody Tori for the win. Sam can go do one, you know. She ain't shit.
Exactly.
I mean, even in this season, when Miguel phones her up, he even says, Sam, why are you making this all about you? And she is.
Mhm.
Why didn't you ask me about Tori's fight? Why didn't you ask me about the championship? Like, what about me? And she's so focused on herself. Like, this kid has traveled across the freaking country in order to go and find his dad, which is a lot more important, in my opinion anyway, than karate. And yeah, she's just all about her. So I really think that her finding herself this season was something that needed to be done because, yeah, she's very, you know,
self-centered, self-centered, egotistical, arrogant, pompous. Okay, and I want to add one more thing to that. This whole rivalry between her and Tori, where she plays the victim, and Tori, I have nightmares about Tori. Tori bullies me. Tori attacked me. She left a scar on my arm. All of this happened. Are y'all listen to me? Can y'all hear me clear?
Because of Sam.
Yes.
All of this happened because Sam accused her of stealing her mom's wallet.
Purse. Yeah.
Right.
Out of everybody at that party, she blamed Tori for it. Then put hands on the girl without any evidence, without any proof, without any. She grabs the girl, puts hands on her. Tori pushes her back, and that's how the whole thing got started because Sam jumped the gun.
Yeah. I said this in another video that I did about that. Like, really, that was Sam showing her strike first and her really aggressive side because she is a goody little two-shoe. She would never do the wrong thing. And yet she grabs Tori's bag or her arm or something like that. Like, why would she put her hands on another person when her dad has taught her never to do that? We never strike first. We are never aggressive. We defend ourselves or we defend other people. But yeah, so she definitely instigated all that. And then with the whole boyfriend things,
I would really like in season 6 for her to have a Daniel LaRusso moment in Karate Kid 3 and go to Cobra Kai. I think
I think they foreshadowed that because remember Terry Silver said, you're gonna see a Cobra Kai gi around both of your kids.
Yeah, I'll wrap my gi around your kids. Yeah.
Right.
So one of them's going to Cobra Kai. It could be Sam. It could be Anthony. But one of them's going. It could be both of them. But one of them's going.
I just think like
Jason.
It's truly one of them because like if they're going to have this world tournament, like how are they going to choose between Sam and Tori? Like two of the best fighters, and like Tori won Sam won the match technically, but Tori won the match.
Yeah.
So it's like one like with everything done with Sam. And how she's not a likable character as such, really. They've got to make her go to Cobra Kai, surely, at some point.
Right.
I would love to see that anyway.
Yeah.
I agree. A 4 foot tall and he's an absolute menace. I think like Kenny was not too bad. Like the way they built his arc of him being like a nerdy kid right at the beginning, and then he got bullied, and that's why I called him the Cobra Kai. Like that was really good. But then this season, I think the issue is what Rashad said before. They had him beefed up and beat Hawk. I'm just like, nah.
Yeah, it was.
He beat Hawk.
Yeah, it was like so much. It was like so one extreme to the other, where it's not believable. Because in season 1, he did a lot of this shit. Like all you have to do is do like this and say. So how the hell you go from you go from that to Keen, get over here? No mercy. How do you go from that to that within the span of a year? Get the fuck out of here.
But
I think what they were. Sorry.
Well, I was just going.
You go, Mike.
Yeah, I was just going to quickly say it, Rashad. It was exactly like that in this season. There was so many times he was like. That before,
a couple times you did see it. Yeah.
I think the whole point of that though was to show how powerful Terry Silver is, because again, even with Kyla was supposed to be the leader, and he was taking all these beatings from the sensei, and then it took Terry Crews to Terry Crews. Sorry, I just did my interview.
Sensei Terry Crews. He has to make his chest jump before he comes after you.
With his protein shakes.
But again, how's Kyla the leader? Never won a fight.
Yeah, he hasn't.
He's the leader.
Yeah.
He didn't get eliminated like in the semifinals. He got swept by Hawk in the semis.
Yeah.
Or the quarter. I think the quarterfinals he got swept.
He's never won an important fight ever.
Yeah. I think Terry picks people not based on their like fighting abilities, or I guess that plays some part of it, but also, you know, he wants them to be this sort of aggressive, you know, bully type, you know, and I think he sees that in Terry Crews would take them all out. I'm so sorry about that. I was talking about Terry in that bloody Tales of the Walking Dead thing. That's why. But yeah, I think that was supposed to show Terry's influence on the kids, you know, because he went from being this, I don't want to say a loser, but, you know, he was the pawn, not the king, you know, and he took him in there. And that was probably one of my favorite lines of Terry when he said to Kenny said, "So what do you want me to do?" And Terry turned around and said, I want you to stop asking me or anybody else that question. You know, like, you do it, you man up, and don't ask anybody else what they want to do. You do it.
Right.
You know, do it yourself. Do things for you, buddy. And it was from that point and that conversation that he went out and he's like, no, I'm in charge. We're doing it this way. So, yeah, I think that they were trying to show, even though maybe it's not really believable, I think they were trying to show that, you know, Terry changed him exactly how sort of Robbie was telling him he would. You know, he would bring out the worst in him, and that's what Terry did.
Especially when he taught him that move, man. That like that's the worst thing he could have did was taught him this shit, you know. And then because I thought because when he hit Miguel with that, not Miguel, when he hit Hawk with that, I thought he killed him, man. That's the worst thing he could have did was taught him that move.
Yeah,
I would say so. Like in regards to this comment with Joe's left here, like it's on about. I think with Miguel though, it's far more believable because it starts from like episode 1. He's like an absolute kind of wimp as such. You know, he gets picked up outside the Cobra Kai dojo. You know, he's like kind of like a scrawny kid as such. And then throughout that whole season, on the build him up as like he's doing press ups, he's getting his cardio in shape. He's slowly starting to learn the moves. He doesn't pick up the moves straight away. He slowly starts to learn them, and he takes that kind of like no mercy approach, and that's how he wins the tournament. So like
you see the progression. Yeah, you see the progression.
Yeah, you see the progression throughout. Whereas like Kenny, you didn't really see any progression. He was still like that. Like the point of Silver being like the silver bullet. Like he was still like that. And I'm just like there was no progression of him becoming this ultimate fighter to beat Hawk. If they had maybe a couple like use that for maybe 2 more episodes and show him like really built up, then I'd be like, all right, okay, cool. Hawk got no chance, you know.
In other words, it wasn't earned. It wasn't earned. It just,
just thrown in there as if like there had to be like, oh, he has to win, kind of thing. Yeah.
Jace is saying that Miguel never became a bully, and Joe is saying that the most stupid character was Kyla, and we can all agree with that.
Well, Miguel was on his way to becoming a bully. He was on his way because if you remember, by the end of season 1, he was going down that road of like because he tried to bully Robbie, and then when he told Sam at the end of the tournament, well, before he fought Robbie, he said, "Yeah, just wait till you see what I do to Robbie. You know, I got to strike first." And no, like he was becoming an asshole, but it took for him to lose Sam to, I guess, get back on track again.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting to see what they're going to do with the kids. Oh, sorry.
I was just saying Kyle is terrible with that comment.
What was that say? Yeah, definitely. And I love that was it Hawk pointed out that, you know, everybody can beat him up, or everybody who he's bullied has beat him up, because remember he was the original bully. And Dimitri's in the background goes, "Oh, I haven't." He's like, "You'll get your turn, don't you worry." And then he beats him up and he's like, "Bitch," which is what they called him in season 1.
Right.
Great writing.
Yeah, he's one character.
One character.
Yeah, I don't think he's like Kreese. I don't think he's redeemable.
Nah.
That's
exactly facts. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, he's still the same fighter that he was in season 3, because you know he never you know evolved. He just stayed the same.
Right.
It's my Kyla.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we talked about everything that you guys wanted to mention. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to bring up? Favorite scene, favorite moment? One of my favorite scenes that we haven't talked about is the moment in the limo where they're all busting out to Eye of the Tiger. Yes. I thought that was so epic, so badass.
Loved
so
it.
Good.
Yeah, no, my favorite scene was after the limo when Mike Barnes came out and they had that moment where all four of them was together and they're all drunk. And I love how Daniel's like, no, like, are you insane? Like, we're not gonna go to this guy's house and fight him. And then Johnny drunk as hell, can barely stand up. He's like, no, LaRusso, it's gonna happen. he can't even find the door to get into the car. I'm like, what are these guys doing? they about to go to this man's house pissed drunk. Wait a minute, and Chozen supposed to be the level-headed one, right? Daniel says, Chozen, like, talk some sense to him. I know Silva's address. Oh man.
I was going to try and get the scenes up on my Netflix, but it's getting a bit laggy, so I won't bother.
Oh, okay.
There is one scene I just want to quickly touch on, which I know Rashad probably would have been cheering when he saw it. Was when Johnny's having that moment with the judge in the Cobra Kai dojo, and they're referencing Rocky IV.
Say again.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. And they spill milkshake on his shirt or something like that, and then he's like, "This guy gets it," or something like that. Hey,
right.
What was the line that he used?
Wait. So say that again. I was telling my son to calm down. What was the scene again?
I was just saying that the part where Johnny's bonding with the judge and they're talking about Rocky IV. I was it would have been cheering.
Yeah, I did. I was like, Rocky IV, you know. And then we had some moment. He says, "Yeah, if I could change and you could change, anybody could change." I'm like, Rocky IV.
Right.
All right, we've got a few comments, and then I'll wrap it up with Joe's one because his one really sums everything up there. So what do we think about the one kid in Miyagi-Do being a mole for Cobra Kai that came out of nowhere? You know what? I actually thought that came out of nowhere as well. But then when I think back, when I rewatched, because I've watched it 2 or 3 times now, it doesn't actually come out of nowhere. There's little hints that Mitch is going to betray his Eagle Fang family, because there's the time where I think it was Kenny is like recruiting people for the Cobra Kai dojo, and I think there's like donuts or like cakes or something there, and he's like stuffing his face, and then they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And at first it's like a throwaway little thing, like, "Oh, this guy's eating cakes because he likes food," but really he was getting sucked into Cobra Kai. And then also when they're doing the protect the egg thing, I can't remember who it was. Let's just say Dimitri says something like, "Okay, let's try this again," or they're practicing protecting the egg, and Mitch is the one that actually says, "Great, can't wait to get my ass kicked yet again with with Miyagi-Do," or something like that. Like basically saying when he joined Miyagi-Do, all he does is get his ass kicked compared to Cobra Kai, So there was little hints that he was not happy where he was. Definitely in season 5 anyway.
And the fact that they always called him penis breath, which come to find out Cobra Kai calls him the same thing as well. So you're a 2-time loser, buddy.
Yeah, poor Mitch. Or well, maybe not poor Mitch if he's a traitor, but we'll have to see what happens with them. I definitely don't think it was out of nowhere though. I think he was, they dropped little hints along the way.
Who came up with penis breath? Is that Johnny that came up with that?
I think Johnny came up with all their names. The Ginger Twins, Virgin, Penis Breath. Shut up, Bert. Oh, Lordy. Johnny, he's the best.
Yeah.
All right. So we covered that one. Jace also says, did we think Dimitri had enough screen time or moments in the season?
I think so, because there's not much you could really do with this character, Yeah.
I think like they kind of give him like some good parts with like being in that, is it like Tech Town or Geek?
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my greatest lines as well. Thank you so much for being my geek or nerd or whatever you identify as.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yes, correct. That is a line from E.T. That is absolutely correct.
Which line? Which one?
Penis breath. When Elliot calls his brother penis breath.
Okay, right. Gotcha.
They were playing Dungeons and Dragons, and the brother was like picking on him. He's like, "Shut up, penis breath," and the mother's like, "Elliot." So
good catch, Jace.
Good call. Good catch.
So yeah, I think like with Rashad, like I agree. Like I think there's not really much you can do with Dimitri. The Miyagi-Do already is swamped as it is. Like with all these champions and then Sam and Tori and like Robbie's arc and stuff. I think it's just good at add him in with like he's actually got a job as such. Like I think that's cool. And if they ever do like a spin-off show, it could be really cool, like him and Hawk, and he's got like this job kind of thing. Like I think they could go in a good direction with that. So I would say yes. And he gets in the moment where he beats Kyler up as well. So yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I think Dimitri came full circle, man. Because think about it, he went from nerd to badass. He went toe-to-toe with Robbie in the tournament and, made him sweat a little bit. He got the girl he always wanted, Yasmin, and he finally beat up his bully, Kyler. So there's nothing else you can really do with Dimitri except for kind of have him in the background, I guess.
Yeah. It goes to show you that the good guys and the nerds always win.
In Cobra Kai universe, yes. In the real world, no.
I like to think so. Joe backs me up there. Thanks for being a nerd. That was the line. Thanks for being my nerd.
Yeah.
All right. We'll wrap it up with this one from also Joe. What are you guys hoping to happen in season 6? What do we think is going to happen? We've talked about how we're happy, or I was mostly happy, but you guys were pretty content with this season. But where do we think that we're going to go next season?
Only thing I could kind of predict is that they have the little world tournament, and being that Robbie's the only one that hasn't been a champion, I think Robbie's going to be the one to finally win a championship. But I think it's going to come at the cost of somebody getting hurt. So I think Miguel is going to be like the guy to really win, but he's going to get hurt. Something's going to happen to Miguel where he can't continue, and Robbie's going to have to step in and take Miguel's place, and he ends up winning the whole tournament. Something right out of an 80s movie, and this show is chock full of 80s moments, so I can see it going that route.
Yep.
I can agree with Rashad with that as well, especially how they've got this like bromance going on now, and this bondedness. It just seems as if like Miguel's back might go out. That's the only way he's going to get out, by his back.
Right.
And like Robbie taking the win. I think like Rashad kind of hit the nail on the head as well. Like Kreese is going to have to go to Korea, where Kim is, because we see like Kim in that final scene, but she like goes off somewhere, I believe. Or she goes out the back door of like Terry's place or whatever.
Right.
So like she's obviously can't go to Silver now, or like the dojo's not there really. So if she learns that Kreese gets out, like she can be his escape route. So they could always build like a dojo in Korea or whatever. And then as you were saying, Jamie, like if Silver doesn't go to prison because he's got this great attorney or whatever, he could still have his Cobra Kai. So like ultimately, I think this should be like the last season where Miyagi wins and like Cobra Kai shuts down. Johnny gets his happy life. The Russo's wife Amanda is finally like, right, I'm not going to divorce him now. Karate's done, kind of thing. I don't know. That's what I would like to see, but I think maybe like the outcasts of all the kids should go to Cobra Kai again, especially with Silver. If he is at Cobra Kai again, we know how manipulative he is of the season, and it only took like a little small video for them all to be like, nah, we don't want this anymore.
Right.
But he could easily make a video to be like, oh, this is why you should come back to Cobra Kai.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense that this last season. I don't know how they could keep going after this,
Yeah, season 6 got to be the last one, man. I don't know where else. Don't do like Jamie, no offense, but don't do like The Walking Dead and stretch this shit until people stop caring about it.
I'm sorry, but that's what happened. It took one major character to go in order for them to lose, I'm going to say, half their fan base, because I'm going to be honest, a lot of people left. And I really think that, and I've said this before, around that season 4 is when things start to drop off. Shows get repetitive. They just follow this same pattern of let's do the same idea, but repeat it and like rinse and repeat. And it does. It gets repetitive and it gets dull. But the thing that I liked about this show is that it didn't. You know, it brought in new characters. It brought in new ideas, different problems. Yes, they're all karate related. And yes, some of it is like pretty cheesy, but that's what's to be expected. But it's still fresh ideas. You know, they're not just like repeating the same stuff, or I don't think that they are. But as you said, the next one needs to wrap it up. And I really thought that this one was doing a good job of that. But I still think there's another story to be told, and that going worldwide is the best opportunity to do that. You know, like taking the karate to a world level, not just, you know, the valley level. I think that's a really good opportunity, but then that's it. You know, like close that. And Jace mentioned here before I come back to Joe's one, Jace mentioned you know, Dimitri and Hawk going off to college. You know, you can have your little spin-offs
Binary
with
brothers.
Yeah, you can have that sort of stuff, the spin-offs with the kids and things. But yeah, the whole Denny versus Johnny rivalry with Kreese and things like that, I really think that's, you know, that's coming to an end. And everything, as you said, Rashad, it's all coming full circle. Everyone's maturing and getting their happy little family. And I think that's how it should end and when it should end.
I don't know if y'all saw me, but I just jumped just now because I didn't know my son was staying right there. So I looked over and said, "Oh shit!" Yeah. So hopefully, I jumped a little bit. Like he's just standing there, just staring at me, like the boogeyman.
Jamie, I didn't know that there was one comment from Joe, I think, before that one, which is about like Kreese traveling.
Yeah.
The only answer I can kind of give for that one is, as he was in the like the wars and stuff. So being like an ex-soldier, maybe he has like favors he can call in. He always seems to have some friend he can call at some point.
Maybe Sensei Kim could work something out. You know, maybe she knows some people that could help him get across. You know, I don't know. Like it's Cobra Kai universe. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
You know.
But to be honest, she and them senseis came on a private plane.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming if he can get in touch with him, which I'm assuming she's going to know that he's there. She can easily get on a private plane back to like Korea,
right?
Like, with her.
Yeah. And that'll really open things up. You know, again, going worldwide, like going to a whole different place and including, you know, that side of things. That's not going to make the show repetitive and boring. Like that's going to really open it up, I think.
Well, yeah, we'll show the real side of like because Sung Young Kim had his own style of karate, and Kreese and Terry Silver kind of made it their own. But to see like the actual like the source where it came from, and because I'm pretty sure it's probably still that same aggressive style, but maybe a lot more lethal than what Kreese and Silver, you know, kind of like with Daniel, you know, with Daniel knowing Miyagi-Do, but he didn't know all of Miyagi-Do because Chozen had to show him the deadly side of Miyagi-Do, which he had no clue about, like the whole paralysis thing and everything. So yeah, there's sides to that Sung Young Kim karate that even Kreese is not aware of that Kim's probably going to teach him or teach, you know, the students. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely think at some point next season, I really hope that one of the students uses the paralyzing the limb technique. Surely that's got to be a way to like win the match, especially if it's like Korean students like going all lethal, as Rashad said. That paralyzing technique seems to be like the only way to win.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but we have to go full lethal now. Like you can't bring in these samurai swords and have Terry, you know, slicing Chozen open to the flesh. You know, like having these proper flesh wounds.
Right. Yeah.
Going back
to just a flesh wound. Yeah, but it's all your flesh.
All your flesh. Yeah, you can't go from, you know, scenes like that to, hey, we're just gonna, you know, like do some punching and karate and stuff like it. Yeah, they've got to go full violent and full brutal like they did this season.
Yeah, they've committed to that craziness now. They've just got to carry it, I guess.
Yeah, can't go back.
100%.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that sums everything up. We've talked about what we think is going to happen. We've talked about, you know, what we enjoyed this season. Do you guys want to do a quick little chat about what's coming up on your channel? Give your channel a little bit of a plug for what's to come.
Yeah, Mr. Rashad.
Oh, thank you, sir. I don't have much coming up. Just preparing for this storm. That's kind of where my mind is at the moment. Other than that, well, I was gonna review Smile coming up Thursday, but I'm probably not gonna be able to see that till maybe Friday or Saturday. So look out for that Smile review coming soon. And next week is Terrifier 2. Can't wait for that one. I already got my ticket.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. Oh, you don't get that yet?
So I heard like it's getting like a release on like October 6th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Right.
And there's been no news at all about it's coming out in the UK at that time. I think we get it like a few weeks later. But not in the cinema. I think like direct on streaming. I think.
Oh, direct on streaming. Okay. Yeah. Me and my daughter were seeing it at the AMC, the theater that we went to see Pearl.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to see it. Yeah. So
Rashad's welcome here every time.
Oh,
yeah. You know what?
You should travel to Mike.
I might have to. Man. I might have to, get out of butt scratching Florida for a minute and go see different parts of the world. What do you say, mate?
Do you think you can brace the Crocs?
Yeah, right.
Come across the ditch.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I don't have much coming on the channel. I mean, I might drop a random video about whatever is trending, whatever's being talked about, possibly. But as of right now, yeah, just Smile and Terrifier. Oh yeah, in October, get ready. I'm dropping a whole bunch of horror reviews. So yeah, Calm Before the Storm. Nice. Yeah, I'm just like, it's my favorite. This is my Christmas for me. It's October. All right, love horror movies. So dropping a whole bunch of those, man. Be on the lookout.
Awesome.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. What about you, Mike?
So as I said, so last night I dropped a review for Smile, so that's on the channel now if anyone wants to watch that. And coming up as well, I recently come back from Florida. I want to review like all the theme parks I went to, so I do like separate reviews. But I also want to get out this week my vlog video of Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. So that video I'm hoping is going to come by the end of the week, but it's going to be like a bitch to edit. So we'll wait and see. And then besides that, I think like one or two maybe like early Shudder screenings. But yeah, not really too much this week. Just quiet week. Z Talks on Thursdays back as well, by the way. So 8 o'clock UK time, my channel, weekly live stream that's coming back this week.
Sweet.
Yeah, cool. All right. I've got a few things coming up. Like you, Mike, we did the whole holiday season here. And we went to some theme parks. It was really cool. There was like a Batman Legacy, had like lots of props and like the Batmobile, the Bat Bike. Oh fuck, that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, now you know what I went through.
I literally jumped. Normally I can hear it, but holy. Yeah, so anyway, we went to the theme parks, did that. That was really cool. It's got all their props and like the costumes and things. I mean, the guy said that they were the proper costumes, but I'm not 100% sure if they were, but he did say that. Come here, beautiful.
That sounds awesome.
Oh, so cool. So cool. And then I've got the a few of the Star Wars things. I watched Star Wars Return of the Jedi with Jacob, so I've been editing that. And then on Friday, I'm doing the next one with Anthony Perez, and then the one after that on Monday with Christian. So yeah, a few more, first watches coming up. And then this weekend, Mike and I are starting a live stream, a fortnightly live stream on my channel where we're going to be basically talking about movies and TV shows that we've watched or that we, want to watch. So yeah, we're going to be having a chat about things like that in a live stream in this format. So that'll be exciting too.
Cool.
Starting this weekend. So yeah, That's what's happening on my channel.
All right.
All right. Well, I think this is my cue to end this little one coming on in. Sorry about that, guys.
Ooh, man.
All right. Thank you again for joining our live stream.
Okay, give me a hug. Oh, I'm sorry, their mom just come to pick them up. Give me a hug. All right. Love you. We good, all right? You too. All right.
Yeah, we'll end this now.
Love you too.
Thanks so much for joining the stream, guys. And thank you to everybody who commented and joined along the way.
All right.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye, y'all. All right. Hold on. I'm coming. All right, y'all. Let me get out of here real quick.
See you guys.
Bye, everyone.